help this morning. I'm trying to help you. You gotta make sure you're sending the right bait. You can get a woman, you can get a man. You got to use the right bait, brother. You got to. Women not only look at your grooming, but they look at your shoes. You got to stop running them worn down, run over shoes, and get some shoes that look nice so you can catch you a good woman, because she's checking out your shoes. You got to take off them black Frankenstein shoes with white tube socks. That's not gonna catch you a woman. And sisters, I got to bless you too. Sisters, please take them curlers out your hair before you go out in public. You're not going to catch a man like that. And please wear age-appropriate attire. At some point, you too old for spandex. But we live in an age where grandmamas are partying with their daughters, because the deeper issue is because our young people are having babies earlier at 14 and 15. Mama, who's barely 30, is now grandmama, and grandmama at 30 is not trying to be cooped up in the house either. And so the problem in our community oftentimes is you see mama and daughter partying at the same club, and that's a crying out shame. Okay, let me move on from that. So there is somebody for everybody. But if you don't have the gift of celibacy, God has given us marriage as a means by which to fulfill a God-given desire. And I really wish Paul had said this, because verse 9 is often taken out of context, and it often is the cause of many unhealthy relationships. Paul should have said this: it's better to marry the right person than to burn in passion. Because we as believers think, okay, I want to be sanctified, I want to be holy, I don't want to live outside of God's will, I need to be married. Okay, it's okay to marry, but it's even worse to marry the wrong person. And so you have to make sure you marry the right person. But what some of us do is, in an anxiety, and we're so anxious to get married, you just marry the person who was right now. But they may not be the person who was right for the rest of your life. You have to marry the right person. And so God ordained the institution of marriage as a means to fulfill this God-given desire. But God has not ordained every marriage. Can I say that one more time? God has ordained the institution of marriage, but God has not ordained every marriage. And I'm hoping to be a blessing to married couples and a blessing to singles who are anxious to be married. It does not matter how holy you are. Some two people do not need to be together. Am I right about it? It does not matter how holy or how spiritual you are. Some two people, if you are matches and he's gasoline, you two may not need to be together. Because we are engaging in destructive, unhealthy relationships, thinking that just because we're married, we are within God's will. No, marriage as an institution is ordained by God, but not every marriage is ordained by God. I teach a class at New York Theological Seminary, and I was engaging with my class, and we were just talking about a myriad of issues, but one pastor in the class, he vehemently stepped out and he said, I will not marry homosexuals. And for the most part, I do believe God's plan for marriage is between man and a woman. And I said, okay, brother, I understand that, and nobody would disagree with you. However, the church must not be hypocritical, because we won't marry homosexuals, but we will marry those who are not saved and who are unequally yoked. We will marry those who are shacked up. I wish I had a witness in here. We will marry everybody else who's outside of God's will, but we pick and choose what we want to do to obey God, and we cannot be like that in the church. We highlight one or two sins, and we forget the sins we commit every day. And so we have to be mindful that God wants us to be sanctified in every area, even in dating and relationships. We all know that there's a process to dating. Oftentimes our unhealthy relationships start with dating. There's dating, there is first friendship, there's courtship, then there's dating, then there's marriage. We oftentimes jump not to friendship, we jump right to sex and then marriage. And oftentimes we don't even date. There's no court.